Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to picture someone for a second. There's a guy in your city right now driving a 10-year-old car. He doesn't have a flashy, expensive watch. His clothes are perfectly clean, but he's just standing there sipping gas station coffee, looking entirely ordinary. Every single day, he brings his lunch to work. He never posts about money on social media, and you will certainly never catch him bragging about his investment portfolio over dinner. To the rest of the world, he is literally invisible. Nobody even looks twice at him.
But here's the absolute kicker. That completely unassuming guy, he's sitting on $2 million. And you know what the most fascinating part of this is? That invisibility wasn't an accident. He built that wealth, quietly, deliberately, and invisibly. In fact, being invisible is his entire core strategy. Most of us are conditioned to think that wealth is loud, right? We think it looks like a leased luxury car, designer outfits, or vacation photos racking up 1 million likes. But the source material we're digging into today argues that real wealth actually looks like nothing at all. It just looks like an ordinary Tuesday morning. It's a guy eating a simple sandwich at his desk while his money grows in total silence.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, the wealth drain effect, and why visibility is a threat.
So, what does this all mean? Well, this whole concept revolves around the immense practical and psychological power of financial privacy. Visibility, not the stock market crashing, not inflation, not even your income level, is often the single greatest threat to your financial future. To really get this, we have to look at the wealth drain effect. Basically, every single time you signal to the world that you have money, you're unknowingly sending out invitations for extraction. All of a sudden, a cousin hits you up for a small loan for their new startup, the expectation for you to pick up the dinner check mysteriously goes up, and the unnecessary social comparisons begin. The moment people know you're actively building wealth, something shifts, and the harsh reality, almost none of those shifts are going to help your net worth. They just drain your resources. But the solution isn't to hide away in fear, it's to build in silence, entirely by choice.
And honestly, that silence really needs to start inside your own head, because human psychology is actively working against us here. There's this psychological trap that researchers call social reality. When you announce a big financial goal, like telling your friends you're aggressively investing, your brain actually pulls a massive trick on you. It registers just the announcement as actual progress. You get this totally unearned hit of dopamine, a feeling that you've already succeeded before you've done any of the actual hard work. So what happens? Your hunger fades, your drive slows down, and you haven't even started yet. It's not a personal flaw, it's literally your biology playing a prank on you. When you share your goals, you aren't just killing your own drive, you're opening the door for judgment and comments that'll just exhaust you over time.
Which brings us to Section 2, status versus assets, and the ultimate financial confusion. So if staying silent is the key to keeping our drive alive, we really need to clear up this ultimate financial confusion. When you look at the divide between status and assets, it's like night and day. On one hand, you've got status. Status is a performance. It absolutely needs an audience to exist. It's the expensive car lease, the designer watch, going to a restaurant that costs more than your monthly rent. You're paying heavy maintenance costs every single month just to keep up a perception that only benefits your ego. But then, look over at assets. Assets are completely silent. Index funds, rental properties, dividend stocks, they earn money while you sleep. They don't need an Instagram account. They just grow, quietly and steadily, as long as you leave them alone. That wealthy guy in the 10-year-old car made one brilliant choice. Every dollar he didn't spend on status was instantly redirected into assets.
Okay, let's get practical. Section 3, Rules for Silent Wealth. Here are the 8 strategies of the invisible millionaire.
Rule number 1 is an absolute game changer. Automate before you can spend it. The single most dangerous moment in your entire financial life is the tiny gap between when your paycheck arrives and when you decide what to do with it. That gap? That is the exact birthplace of lifestyle inflation. You have to close it up. You do this by setting up an automatic transfer to your investments on the very same day you get paid. You pay your future self first before you even see the money or feel the urge to spend it. Everyone else just gets whatever's left over. Then we have Rule 2, which is all about protecting your lifestyle floor. The math on this is honestly beautiful. Every time your income goes up, you have to fight the urge to expand your lifestyle by the same amount. To put this into perspective, let's say your income jumps by $10,000. It is completely fine to allow yourself a small, reassuring bump in comfort. Maybe take $2,000 to improve your day-to-day life. But you've got to take the other $8,000, the vast majority of that raise, and send it straight into your investments. If you have the discipline to execute this, every single time you get a raise, your net worth is going to accelerate so fast it'll feel almost unfair.
Now, Rules 3 and 4 really go hand in hand. Rule 3. Master the power of being underestimated. When people don't see anything flashy or impressive about you, they let their guard down.
They negotiate carelessly, and they don't try to compete with you because they don't even see you as a threat. Being invisible isn't a weakness, it's practically armor. And Rule 4, never perform your ambition. Your financial goals are not social media content. Posting a screenshot of your Robinhood portfolio online is exactly what you shouldn't be doing. Think of your goals as private intelligence. They belong locked away in a spreadsheet, shielded from the opinions of people who haven't earned the right to weigh in on them.
And, this invisible armor extends to the rest of your life, too. Let's look at Rule 5. Invest in assets that do not require showing off. Things like low-cost index funds. The boring investment is almost always the best one, because boredom doesn't need applause, and applause doesn't compound. Rule 6. Spend on experiences that do not broadcast. No, this isn't about depriving yourself at all. It's about curation. The quietly wealthy travel privately, they eat amazing food without needing to photograph it, and they spend money on actually living, rather than telling the story of how they live. And Rule 7. Build a financial circle of exactly the right size. Maybe one trusted advisor and one discreet accountant. Your financial life isn't a group chat. Limit your info to the absolute fewest trusted people possible.
And that brings us to Rule 8, which is absolutely crucial. The quietly wealthy say no cleanly, and they do it without explanation. No, I cannot lend you money. No, I'm not going on that expensive trip. No, I'm not interested in that investment pitch. They say it without an apology and without sending a massive paragraph of justification just to make the other person comfortable. For the invisible millionaire, no is a complete sentence, period. Because every single yes that doesn't align with your goals is just another financial leak. But every aligned no, that is a sealed, impenetrable wall.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, the ultimate compounding force. Time combined with silence.
So, zooming out from those specific rules for a second, we hit the overarching philosophy here. And frankly, this is what no standard financial course is ever going to teach you. The most powerful force in building wealth isn't picking the perfect stock or starting a trendy side hustle. It's the ultimate compounding force, time, combined with silence. Basically, every great fortune that was built quietly was built on this exact foundation: patience without performance, discipline without an audience, sacrifice that never asked for a round of applause. That guy in the quiet house with the 10-year-old car, he hit his $2 million precisely because he didn't need you to know about it. He stopped waiting for recognition and started redirecting all his resources from being visible to actually growing. Real compounding truly kicks in when your financial decisions don't need external validation anymore. You succeed simply because you stopped performing and you started building.
Which leaves us with one final massive takeaway from today's explainer. Wealth is absolutely not what you show to the world. It is what you've managed to grow quietly while no one else was watching. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What are you growing in silence?